All right, hello everyone. Appreciate you guys watching my videos, seeing what's going on with us. Really quick, going to talk in this video about what the difference between the gunfighter series that we put on our range and like a two-gun is. So Josh had asked me to make this video. He says he gets quite a few questions from people saying, what's the difference between you guys and two-gun, or is it just like two-gun? And to kind of bring it up to speed, years ago, I wanted to do three-gun really bad. I actually thought I'd put my kids into it and we'd do three-gun. It looked like it was so much fun. It looked like it would be a great time. And as I started watching it, I did some IDPA stuff and I did some other shoots. I never really got to go do an actual three-gun or a two-gun per se. But as I started going through some of these things, I started noticing that a lot of them were focused on like running, right? Like running gun. You hear people talk about running gun. And it seemed to be who could run the fastest and run from spot A to spot B and then shoot as fast as they could. And the movement and the shooting, and that was the key part of it, where it was the faster you were on your feet, the better you were going to do. And it really, I kind of lost the appeal to it watching that, and I just wasn't, it's not that I don't like to run and gun, I like to run and move and shoot and stuff, I love that. But it didn't seem to have the real world tactics in it that I was kind of looking for. And so at one point there was a company, or not a company, but a business out in Michigan called, or it was a range setup. They had Michigan Combat 3-Gun. And I'd watched their Facebook page, I'd watched some of their stuff, and I always wanted to go over and try that. And it looked pretty cool because it tried to do real world scenarios. And if I remember right, they didn't allow like the strollers or the bags or the people rolling up and having a full little mini like cart with all their stuff on it ready to go, and it seemed more realistic to me, right, than some of the other stuff. And so when we started talking about wanting to do events ourselves for Stronghold-Corp, we said, listen, if we're going to do this, we don't want to make it a game about who's got the fastest run time or who's got the race holster, all that stuff. We wanted to make it more realistic to an application of an actual tactics and things that we like to teach. So when we started the Gunfighter series, we came up with some things that we tried to make it different than what a true gun would be, where you just run as fast as you can and shoot. So we implemented lots of use of cover, different barricades, things like that. As we went through all last year, what we started to notice is that we actually spent a lot of time with people that were scoring higher, even though there's no score really. It's the people that were doing the best in the events from our math system at the time were the ones that ran the fastest. So 2026, we will be implementing a little bit of point scale change to that, where there'll be point deductions if you like reload out in the open instead of using cover or tactics, or the people that move through the hallways the fastest and are exposed to targets will have penalty instead of getting shot type deal. Where the people that are smart and move through technically sound or tactically sound will do better. Even though they might move through the little course slower, and it might take them a little bit more time from a pure clock or stopwatch standpoint, they're going to use proper tactics. So we're going to make sure that we focus heavily on that this year. So the other thing we do too is a lot of times you see the competitions, and if it's a steel target, obviously, however many rounds you put on the steel target drops, and then that's been neutralized. But for other targets that are either cardboard, or in our case, we use a lot of the affinity targets. A lot of places you go to, it's you gotta have 2 shots on it. And one thing we did that's different, and then I'll throw you off when we talk about we shoot a lot. If we got a target like that is either cardboard or paper or infinity rubber target, we actually have you put 5 good shots on it, because if you're in a real gunfight and you're going to just blast off 1 or 2 rounds at a bad guy that's trying to kill you, I don't think so. So our point being is that we're going to force you to actually run your guns a lot. So we tell people they're going to shoot a lot, and they do. They come through and they shoot a lot of stages where there's a lot of targets you go through. If you have 5 targets in one stage, and you're doing 5 rounds minimum per target, you're going to run 25 rounds in that stage. So it's a lot of shooting. And we do count score on some of them. Some of them are scored differently based on the zone. Some of them are scored based on if they're a sniper type target. So we're a little different. We're not an IDPA course of fire. We're not an IPSC course of fire. We're not traditional 3-gun or traditional 2-gun. So the Gunfighter series, like I said, if you think you got to be somebody that can run really, really fast to be competitive in this, again, it's not really a competition like that. It's more of we're making it competitive so that way you survive the world the way it's all messed up right now. We're trying to make it so that you're a better survivor going forward. And the goal of the Gunfighter series is to make sure that if something real bad happens to you in real life, that you're prepared for it and that you'll come out on top. So a little differences between the Gunfighter and a traditional 2-gun, but that's kind of it in a nutshell. Again, we like to shoot, so at the range, anticipate bringing lots of rounds. Every time we have one of these, we have somebody ask us for round count. And I'm just going to tell you this right now. Anytime you ask me for a round count on the Gunfighter, my answer is this: bring 300 rifle rounds, bring 300 handgun rounds. That'll get you started at least, right? For 4 stages, right? And people are like, what? I'm like, and if you're planning even better, bring 500 and 500 each time, because you might want to run some of the stages multiple times. So if you're counting it down to, hey, I brought 35 rounds of this and 35 rounds of that, that's not how our series is run. We'll shoot way more than what you think you're going to shoot. And then you might want to run the stage a little differently after everybody else goes through it and say, hey, I want to run it backwards. Or I want to try it this way. Or I want to try it this way, shooting under the vehicle or using rollover prone in this stage. So bring more ammo than you think you're going to use is what I tell you. And then come and have fun and come shoot with us. So, like I said, real quick to talk about the difference between traditional two gun, and our Gunfighter series. And then, again, check us out if you can. If you're not already following our Facebook page, we'd love to have you follow us. We've been obviously locked down by the algorithm that hates Pro 2A content for the last 10 years or so. So if you could follow us on Instagram and if you could follow us on Facebook, that would be awesome. If you could follow us on the YouTube channel, that would also be awesome. Anything you could do to follow us that would help, that'd be great. If you want to come shoot with us in Northeast Iowa, we would love to have you come shoot with us. And then last plug again, we're going to do a machine gun shoot on May 31st. It'll be a Sunday from noon to 4. So if you're not going to come to one of the Gunfighters, but you want to come shoot some machine guns, that'll be an open venue for that too. So great talking to you. More videos will be coming. Thanks.